Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your guest host, Abigail Hill. Today we'll have an exciting guest from Sweetland Amphitheater you won't want to miss, so stay tuned. Hi there, and welcome back to City Week. I'm your guest host, Abigail Hill, filling in for Alton West. Today, I have the pleasure of sitting down with Mary Kate Nix, Assistant General Manager at Sweetland Amphitheater. Mary Kate, thank you for joining me this morning.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
So, tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got to LaGrange.
Okay, so I am originally from Pike County, Georgia. Zebulon, Georgia. I usually just say the county because it's so small. But I came here in 2012. I went to LaGrange College. I got my bachelor's and my master's from LaGrange College. But during that time, I started working at Sweetland as an intern in 2016 under Becca Island, and I just kind of stayed here.
Internships are the best way to go.
Yep. I loved it. It was the best time.
Tell me about some of the things that you did as an intern.
So, as an intern, one of the biggest things that I remember, which was very, not traumatizing, but very nerve-wracking for me because I hated talking on the phone, I ordered the stage risers that the artists put all their stuff on. I remember I was actually in my dorm room calling, and I had Becca, I was emailing her, and I held my phone out to here. I was like, I need 12 of these. I was shaky voice. And then right after I got off the phone, I emailed Becca. I was like, okay, they're done, thanks. I was like, done. But I've also ordered the gobos that they have projected on the side of the stages. Yeah, those were the two biggest things, and then I started working in box office stuff.
Okay, so you kind of went from not in person to in person. How was that transition from going on phone to in person?
It was easier, thankfully. I am much better talking to someone in person. Talking on the phone, I freak myself out because I'm just I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what they look like, what's going on. So seeing someone in person, seeing their reactions, I'm much more comfortable with.
Right. You seem like a really, like a people person. We talked a little bit before we got on here, and you're very easy to talk to and kind of outgoing.
Yeah, so my perfect bubble is right there.
Yeah, I could definitely see you in a box office, getting the tickets sold.
Yep.
I'm sure you're great at that.
Yes.
So now you're an assistant general manager. Tell me how that is. Tell me about some of the things that you do as a general assistant manager.
So let me think. So as an assistant general manager, I do still a lot of the box office runnings. I do staffing. So we have merchandise sellers, we have box office attendants, we have a front of house manager. We did all the hiring process for that. I am in constant communication with the box office and merchandise and the front of house manager on the day of the show. During the week, the normal work week, I go and shop for the hospitality writer for the artist. I am in communications with Katie Van Shore here at the city. I'm in communications with our buyer through, they're in Atlanta, so we get all the contracts and whatnot from them. That's a good gist of what I do, but it's definitely time consuming what I do.
So Sweetland, when I hear that, I think of events, big events. Tell me a little bit about what you do when an event is, it's about to happen, as a writer specifically.
So we receive the writer as part of the contract usually. So one document will be the contract, one will be the hospitality writer. So that includes food, beverages, whatever they need for their rooms backstage, which is in the green rooms. It also has how they want the stage set up. So it'll be a map drawn out, and they're like, we want the guitars here, we want the drums set up here, we want the amps to be here. It also has just during the day, the timeline of how they want the day to go. Hospitality writer, it can be literally anything on there. We've had black Solo cups, we've had Mexican Cokes, we've had all the types of alcohol that you could possibly think of. We also have had like Pringles and Oreos and just like basic necessities, just cereal, like little things like that are on those hospitality. I keep wanting to say hospitality riders.
So what has been like the craziest thing that you got to do or get for a group or an artist?
I would say the black solo cups was probably the most difficult to get. Here in LaGrange, they don't sell just black solo cups.
Right.
So I had to purchase them on Amazon. But they was either like one little pack or it was $200 worth of bulk. And we're just like, don't need that many black solo cups.
Right.
So that was one of the more difficult. But there are some things on there that they want strictly Whole Foods brand or Trader Joe's brands. And we're like, we don't have that. So sorry.
So how do you handle some of those like situations?
So there's a 3-store rule with our buyer. They tell us that if you can't find it in 3 stores, don't worry about it.
Okay.
But if we have the rider in time, then I'll try and get stuff off of Amazon.
Right.
Sometimes they give us the rider a day before the show. Sometimes they give it to us 2 weeks in advance. It just depends.
So you kind of have to be like, spur of the moment and just get it done if you can.
Yep.
Right. So you were telling me a little bit earlier before we came on here that you really like event planning. And, working at Sweetland, I see a lot of events and event planning that seems kind of up your alley. What exactly goes into you planning an event and, getting an event up and running personally? So
I'm in constant communications with whoever is running or planning the event, not planning the event, because Sweetland, I am not the face of Sweetland, but for events, they're in communication with me. So I am in constant communication with the person that is holding the event. Right. I'll say that. I make sure that everything is whatever they need. I make sure it is in place. I make sure that the venue is clean. I will be on site all day long for the events as well. When we had a wedding this past spring, and it was the most beautiful wedding. I loved it. But I was there the night before. They were setting up the day before. I was there when they were setting up, and then they had all the stuff coming in on the day of the wedding. So I was there from that morning until the end when they were cleaning up.
So is there a lot of physical and, hands-on work for you?
Technically, probably not. You're not I probably shouldn't be doing as much hands-on as I am, but I'm always one of those people that I like to do hands-on. So if I see someone, they were doing this really pretty floral arrangement at the wedding, and I was like, I'm just gonna help out. So I just started helping out, making floral arrangements and putting the tablecloths on the tables and whatnot. So some people, when they do events, they just open up the gates or open up the doors and be like, okay, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, I'll help.
Yes, okay. I like that. I'm kind of like the same way. I like to, delegate a little bit, but I'll jump right in there and get it done with you.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit about some of the events that are coming up at Sweetland.
Yeah, so on August 5th, we have the Marshall Tucker Band, Kentucky Headhunters, and the Outlaws for our 5th concert of the season. And then the next day, August 6th, we have the World Series Braves Trophy Tour coming from 3 to 6 p.m. And then on August 26th, we have Jimmy Allen, which I am very excited about. And on October 9th, we have Ron White, which will be the end of our season.
Okay, and you say season, can you give me a little definition of what a season is?
Yeah, so for concerts, we can plan from March 1st to October 31st. That is our sweet spot time to be planning for concerts at Sweetland. And then from November 1st to the end of February, we will be gung-ho Sweetland on Ice.
Okay.
Sweetland on Ice is tentatively starting on November 18th this year. It takes roughly about a month-ish to be able to set up the ice rink, so that's why we say
tentatively.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it will go around February 14th, Valentine's Day. That's when we did last year. We still need to nail down the date exactly for that. But we love Sweetland on Ice. Sweetland on Ice is a great asset for the community, and we love to do Christmas at Sweetland on Ice. So that's how our seasons are. It's mainly just 2 seasons. So it's the concert season and then Sweetland on Ice season.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to the Sweetland on Ice. I love I love ice skating. I've been there to Sweetland on Ice once last year, and I really enjoyed it.
Yes.
But kind of going back to party planning and event planning, tell me a little bit about how people can have events at Sweetland.
Yes.
Kind of jumping back and forth.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. So having events at Sweetland is kind of tricky. We like to keep all the weekends open as much as possible for concerts. So next year, we've already had people asking, hey, what is the rental policy? Hey, how much is it to rent the venue? We don't rent out the venue between March 1st and October 31st unless it is 30 days before the event.
Okay, yeah.
We want to keep like I said, all the weekends open as much as possible, because when we're sending out contracts to artists, we give them 3 to 4 dates, and we wait until they tell us which day works for them. Because say we have an event on October 1st, already planned, already set, and then the artist is like, oh, we would love to come October 1st. Like, oh no.
Yeah. So
what do we do in that moment? Do we lose up on having a concert, or do we let the artist come?
Yeah.
It's a very tricky, slippery slope kind of deal. So we try to wait as long as possible to be able to do events, and that's why we have the 30-day policy.
Okay, that makes sense. With sponsors, what is your role in like getting sponsors to these bigger events and stuff like that?
So our general manager mainly deals with the sponsors, but I have been in constant communication with them, just talking, mainly just making sure that they're happy, making sure that they're enjoying the shows, making sure that if they have any comments, concerns, anything on that type of nature, then we'll fix it for them. We'll fix it for anybody, but we want to make sure our sponsors are as happy as they can be at our shows and make sure that they are enjoying themselves.
Okay, that makes sense. And for concerts and stuff like that, of course, people are going to be hungry, they're going to be thirsty. How does the concession stands and the food trucks work for events like that? So
we have constant concessions. We use Premier Concessions up in Atlanta. They come down, they'll do all the bars, and they'll do the food like directly underneath the pavilion. That's where our concessions is. Then we have food trucks. And food trucks, they will fill out an application on our website, sweetlandamp.com. I reach out to them after I get their application, say, hey, we have these dates available. Do you want to be able to work any of these? We do 6 to 7 food trucks a show. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's just life happens and we can't do anything about it. But for smaller food trucks or vendors, like Crave Cookie, Holloway Sport Skins, Sparkle Cookies, Kona Ice, it's $50 to be a food truck. But for bigger ones like Bees Meat Market, Drive By Tacos, Smoke and Moe's Barbecue, it's $250 for them to be a vendor. And how do they, how is the response? You guys often have like a lot of food trucks and stuff like that, or usually,
does it depend on the event?
Yes.
Okay.
So a lot of people just want to put their name out there. So they'll be happy to be a food truck, but sometimes they're like, oh, I want to go on the biggest show. Oh, I want to do this and this and this. And so it's a toss-up, really. Like a lot of people want to come to the next couple of shows. Okay. But it just depends really on, honestly, the day too, because the previous concerts we've had, just some things have happened. Life has happened with the food truck vendors, and so we haven't had as many. We've had them planned, but it just, life happens. Yeah. Flat tires, vents been broken. It's just a lot of stuff happens.
Right. And that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that kind of covers everything, I think. Thank you so much for coming out here and sharing with me everything that you do at Sweetland and here in LaGrange, for all the events that you guys put on and all your hard work. I personally want to thank you for taking the time to make sure that each event is so amazing and well put together. Thank you, Mary Kate, for coming on today. Today we discussed Sweetland and all the events that they host, from artists and concerts to Sweetland on Ice. If you would like to know more, please visit sweetlandamp.com.